So 2021, I didn't have any sales from January until April. My first sale of 2021 was in May, but my commission was $18,000. So I am Sydney Ruth. I am a licensed California realtor, content creator, YouTuber, and soon to be mama. And my passion really is fueled by my love for all things lifestyle, real estate and investing, career building, and family. My main goal is to invite you into a little bit of my world and really encourage main character energy into yours as I begin to step into mine. So thank you. We are going to be talking about how I got started in real estate. So let's get it. So I technically have been licensed since 2016. Yeah, 2016. So I've been licensed for some time. However, last year, 2021 was actually my first full-time year as a real estate agent. I know that sounded kind of crazy, but when I think about it, it sounds crazy. I started out doing property management. That's actually how I got my start in real estate. I was working for this huge real estate company, property management company here in Sacramento. The first property that I managed was in Roseville. If you know, you know. And honestly, I really loved property management. Prior to that, I was cheering in the NFL, I was going to school, and I was working at BJ's as a server. And I knew I needed to put my big girl panties on and get a job. So I did some job with benefits and all that extra stuff. I mean, I loved working in a restaurant setting because I was able to meet so many different people, and it gave me that flexibility, especially as an NFL cheerleader, because obviously I had to go to the Bay Area for practices and games, and we'll talk more about that on another video. I worked for this huge property management company, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed showing the units to people. I enjoyed doing the paperwork with them. I enjoyed telling them, hey, I can get you, first month's rent off, or, I can give you $500 towards first month's rent. So I used to hook people up, but I knew that eventually I could sell these things. That was really the pivotal moment that made me think, okay, maybe I should start studying for my real estate license. Mind you, I think I was 22, 23 at the time when I first started looking into real estate. So my boyfriend at the time, now husband, we moved to San Diego. So when we moved to San Diego, I ended up transferring with the same property management company that I was with, and I worked at another job site in San Diego downtown. Absolutely beautiful. I love the community. I would have loved to live there, but it had the floor to ceiling windows, which, I mean, I love that. I mean, who doesn't love all that natural lighting? I worked on that job site for about a year and a half, I want to say. Yeah, about a year and a half. That's when I started looking into getting my real estate license, because I thought to myself, you know what? I'm in San Diego. The houses here, I mean, we're talking $1 million houses on average. Okay, not on average. I would say average in San Diego, you're talking about 650, 700, which is still a lot, especially in comparison to Sacramento. Maybe not now, but so anyways, after that, I ended up joining a Black-owned real estate firm. Now, when I tell you, this is when my entire career changed. This changed the game for me, like my mindset, just everything about what I was doing as a career. I joined the Black-owned real estate firm. So this was actually a connect. So it's so important, or at least I'm learning and have learned back then, how important it is to use your resources, utilize people who know you, let me make sure this is recording. Okay, because I would have been so mad. Utilize people who are in the industry that you want to be in, that could vouch for you, that could help you, get positions. And that's what I did. The company that I ended up joining in San Diego was pretty much like a family friend. And I shot my shot. I think I emailed one of the owners. And asked if they were looking for any part-time help, because at the time I was still, oh my gosh, I forgot a whole story. I worked in HOA management. How did I forget that? Oh my goodness. Rewind. Okay. Moved to San Diego. I stayed with the same company I was with in Sacramento, just at a different site. Then I got into HOA management. Hated it. And I don't use the word hate, y'all, but I did not like HOA management. But I will say this was my first salaried position, which was exciting for me. I was so excited. I didn't negotiate my salary. Big mistake. We'll talk about that as well. But it was my first salaried position. I was getting paid, I think, like $20,000 more than what I was making at the hourly position before that. And in San Diego, that was a big deal. So jumped on the opportunity. HOA management, homeowners association, essentially is you managing a portfolio of different homeowner communities. So let's say there is a condominiums. Those are typically in HOAs, or co-ops and other stuff. But and then also single family homes. So, I mean, and this is in San Diego. So these homes, I mean, the portfolio and the budgets that I was working with, we're talking like close to like 50 million as far as budget. Actually, a lot more than that. I was 23, 24 going into this position. It was my first time doing HOA management. Yeah, it was a lot. I remember going to the bathroom, y'all, and crying. I can laugh about it now, but I was so sad. I remember reading CC&R documents that said, if you are an African-American person, you cannot live here. This is in like 2014. It had this verbiage in CC&Rs and they didn't get it changed. And I remember going to the board, which is a few of the homeowners that pretty much run the association with me as their manager. And I remember telling them like, hey, this is something we need to have changed. And like, oh, we don't see an immediate need for this. And right then and there, I was like, okay, yeah. I mean, most of the associations, actually all of the associations that I managed were ran and led by, no one was a person of color, now that I think about it, and none of them. Yeah, so that's when I slid in the email of the family friend who owned the Black-owned real estate company. I reached out to them and asked if they were looking for like any part-time help. So he's like, actually, you know, not part-time, but we do have a property management position that we're looking to fill. Property management and transaction coordinator position that we're looking to fill. And I'm like, okay, great. Like, I would love to speak with you more. So I go to meet with them. I'm thinking I'm just meeting with this one person, and I'm meeting with 3 people, 3 guys, three Black men. I ended up meeting with all 3 of them. I had my resume. I emailed the resume beforehand. And then I also brought it with me, and it was like an interview. I thought we were just going to chat, but it was an interview. But I was prepared, because I always am. I was prepared, and interview went well. Ended up joining the firm, and they were a very small firm. So what they did real estate development. I'm talking from the ground up. So they were building homes and condos and tri-level apartments from the ground up. They were flipping homes. So they would buy distressed properties, flip them, and then sell them for a profit. And they also did regular real estate sales. And then they also had a portfolio of properties that they owned. So when I joined, I was managing the properties that they owned as the property manager. And then I also started doing transaction coordinating for all of their real estate sales. So I was helping them do the transaction coordinating from purchasing a house, and then also doing the transaction coordinating from selling the home. And I probably did, for transaction coordinating, I'm going to say I did about 8 to 10 transactions a month. Yeah, so that's where I learned how to do TC. That's where I learned how to read real estate contracts and purchase agreements and learn all the terms. which helped me so much in my business. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad and thankful that I did transaction coordinating before getting my real estate license. And I was office manager because we ended up moving to a bigger building. And yeah, they were great though. I was the only woman in the office no, Vantisha was there before me. Yeah. So there were two women in the office, and then the rest of them were guys. So you got 3 owners who were guys, and then maybe like 5 or 6 of the acquisitions, your financial person. So there were about 10 of us in the office, 2 women. At one point, I was the only woman in the office, but they were super respectful, super kind. They always asked me if I need anything, if I needed help. When we moved to the new location, they ended up buying up all these properties and I had to manage them all. So not only was I moving into a bigger, better position as far as my career went, but I was also taking on a lot more responsibility than I won't say signed up for, but then I was taking on when I first joined the company. And that became a little bit difficult because I remember being like the first one in the office and the last one to leave the office as well. But I loved it. I will say that I just got really burnt out. There was even a point where I literally like sat them down. I had to like request a meeting with all of them, sat them down and asked for them to hire me an assistant. Oh my goodness. But mind you, I was doing the work of a property manager I had 88 doors at the time, but they continued to purchase like single family homes, duplexes, and multifamily. So that workload was adding up. And then I was also still doing transaction coordinating, 8 to 10 transactions in a month just by myself. And I was also the office manager too. So I was making sure the office was kosher and everything was good with that. Among some other things, like I did some project coordinating for some of their new developments, which was fun because I'd never done that before. But overall, I sat them down. I was like, hey, can we bring somebody else on? Because I'm doing the job of 3 people. They offered to pay me more. And I was so burnt out that I didn't even ask for a number. I was just like, no, I need you guys to hire somebody. They didn't end up hiring somebody, but I ended up staying there for a little bit longer, ended up getting my license because they were the ones that said, hey, have you thought about doing real estate sales? And I'm like, I have. So I started studying to get my license. And one thing that happened that I wish I could go back and change. I was presented with the opportunity to switch from what I was doing to list all of the properties that they purchase. This honestly would have been a game changer for me early on in my real estate career had I taken that opportunity like at the drop of a dime. And I did it, y'all. Oh, that one still stings. It still stings. And essentially what that means if you're in real estate, like I said, they flipped homes, they did new developments. So I would be their listing agents for all of these houses. Mind you, as a transaction coordinator, I'm doing 8 to 10 transactions on the sell and the buy side. So as a listing agent, I would be listing at least 5 properties per month on average for them. Mind you, I wouldn't have gotten the full standard commission, even though there's not a standard commission. Commission is negotiable and would have been really great experience for me from the list side. Man, I'm thinking about it now, upset, but opportunity passed me. No, I was very lukewarm, and you do not want to be lukewarm in real estate. You don't want to be lukewarm in life. But yeah, that was a tough one, y'all. Don't do that. If there's an opportunity that you really want to do, jump on. And obviously I had already had my real estate license. I don't think I didn't have any sales under my belt at that time, but I knew the contracts in and out. I was speaking with the buyer's agents because I was I was the company's transaction coordinator. So I knew the language. I knew the laws. I knew the contract. I knew the process of getting a listing set up, from the photos, to the video, to open houses. I knew all of that because I was the person that coordinated everything. I was the one that I even did their open houses, y'all. So yeah, I fumbled that one. I fumbled that one hard. Moving on, I got my real estate license, and we ended up moving back to Sacramento. So at that time, I ended up training someone to take over the property management, transaction coordinating, office manager, setting up listings and stuff like that. So I ended up training somebody for like 4 months. So I told them ahead of time because, again, this was a very small and tight-knit company. I really respected these brothers. Like, they were doing something really great for themselves and for their family. And they essentially were individuals that I looked up to and wanted to replicate their business at the end of the day. I ended up training my replacement for about 4 months because I wanted to make sure I was leaving them in good hands and in a good position. So I still did some transaction coordinating work for them when I moved to Sacramento, because obviously I moved to Sacramento with a mind frame of, I'm about to do real estate full time. This is what I'm going to do. Ended up joining a huge real estate company here in Sacramento, a very well-known brokerage here in Sacramento. Didn't work out. I ended up going to school full time, and actually I went to school part time, and was, getting my footing and getting started in real estate here in Sacramento. It was difficult. I will not lie. It was very difficult my first couple of years. My first year for sure. Second year got a little bit better. And now we're here. 2021 was my first full-time year. I joined a new brokerage in 2021. I didn't have any. So 2021, I didn't have any sales from January until April. My first sale of 2021 was in May. But my commission was $18,000. And I will tell you, in 2020, like, I prayed so hard, y'all. I went to my favorite hotel in San Francisco, and I told my husband, like, hey, I just need a couple days to myself. So I think I only stayed there overnight. But I stayed at my favorite hotel, and I took this huge white paper with me just to jot down everything. Because 2020, I prayed so hard, so long, and was like, hey, if this is what you want me to do, like, I need you to show me. I need you to show me, Lord, what is it that you want me to do? Is it real estate? So 2021, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this full time. Top of 2021, I was still taking some classes. I think I was taking 2 classes at the time, but I had started to get my footing. I started to do more campaigning. I started to do door knocking. I did more open houses. And I started doing social media. That's really what changed building my clientele for me at that time, was social media. Got my first sale in May. Again, it was an $18,000 commission. And that really gave me the confidence that I needed. And from there, it was just boom, 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 boom. Sell after sell after sell. Once I joined this new brokerage, and then I got pregnant. So we found out we were pregnant in September, and I really didn't slow down with real estate until the end of the year, because I was in second trimester and tired all the time. But now we're here in 2022, and the car is still rolling. I'm about to give birth in just a few weeks. Well, not a few weeks. 2 months? Yeah, that's how I got started in real estate story. That's a long-winded story. And there's so many different ways, so many different avenues that you can take to get started in real estate. That was just mine. And if I do have any advice or, I guess, little nuggets, I would say is join the right brokerage, man. Join the right brokerage, because I went with a brokerage that everybody knows the name. I won't say it, but everyone knows this brokerage. A billionaire owns it. I joined this because of the name and some other things, and it just didn't work out for me. But obviously, one thing in real estate, if you don't work, you don't get paid. If you don't work, you don't get paid. Thankfully, my husband was working, so I was blessed. Oh my gosh, such a blessing. I was blessed to be able to jump in this field of entrepreneurship, of real estate, and starting a business and figuring out what it is that I need to do to sell houses. But I was also in school, and I think that was the biggest thing for 2020 for me was I ended up going to school full time in 2021. So I was taking like 4 and 5 classes at one point and still doing real estate. One thing that I would suggest is do it full time if you can, and join the right brokerage, because the right brokerage is really going to help catapult you to where you need to be. Ask the right questions. Maybe I'll do a video on what to ask when joining a brokerage. I hope you took something from this video, and I am curious to know how you got your start in real estate. So in the comments, let me know how you got your start in real estate. And if you're thinking about real estate, let me know kind of what you're thinking, like why you want to get started in real estate. What are your goals for real estate? Do you have a company or a brokerage that you're looking to join? What type of real estate do you want to sell? Do you want to go into commercial, residential? Do you want to focus on condominiums? Do you want to focus on single family homes? Do you have a farm? What area? So I do want to get to know you better. So let me know in the comments what your real estate career is looking like, and I'll see you in the next video.